Since Chapter 7 Season 1 finally ended, I thought it would be a fun idea to compare Chapter 6 Season 1 to Chapter 7 Season 1. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing today. If you are wondering how I'll compare these seasons, I'm going to go through similar aspects of each season and say which one I think better and why. With that out of the way, let's get right into the video. So sit back, relax, and grab your popcorn. Starting with the map. Now this is really hard to compare because both maps are absolutely goated. Let's start with the bad POIs, shall we? Whiffy Wharf and Twinkle Terrace were really forgettable in Chapter 6 Season 1 and no one ever landed there. Shining Span was just too small and there was barely enough loot for an entire squad. Pumped Power was just forgettable. For Chapter 7 Season 1 there was Painted Palms and Latte Landing. Both just really forgettable and not that unique. And then for decent POIs, there was Shogun Solitude, which had a guaranteed Typhoon Blade, and the red biome was kind of cool, but it was in the corner of the map, so not a great place to land. And then there's also Hopeful Heights, pretty good, but just again in the corner of the map. Flooded Frogs is another one. There was that secret area once the POI drained where you could get in with a Void Oni mask, which was kind of cool. But that was really it. Canyon Crossing, again, just a POI in the corner of the map. Didn't really have that much significance to it. In Chapter 7 Season 1, there was 4 fields, which was on the side of the map, and half the time you wouldn't even get zone. And there's not really that much loot besides the big building. So you just die most of the time when you land there. Then there was Bumpy Bay. Pretty forgettable again. Just nothing really to it. Battlewood Boulevard, just again forgettable. It was pretty big though and kind of cool. And finally Sus Studios was decent. It wasn't really a place to drop because there were only a couple buildings, and most of the time no one would land there, so you get no fights. Next, for A-tier POIs in Chapter 6 Season 1, there was Foxy Floodgate, which was surprisingly a good middle-of-the-map pick. Real ones know that middle-of-the-map gas station to get Godzilla. Demon's Dojo, which had the Night Rose boss, which gave some pretty good mythics. The Mythic Void Oni mask was pretty good, with 50 uses, which was kind of crazy. And then the Veiled Precision SMG, which was decent. And then there's also Warrior's Watch, which had a guaranteed Typhoon Blade again, but just a giant tall building, so most of the time you'd end up dying. Seaport City was honestly really fun and good. Just a really good city POI. And then for Chapter 7 Season 1, there was Humble Hills, which I surprisingly landed at a lot. It was really fun. Rip Tides, which you could get the Mythic Iron Pump from, which was really good. Tip Top Terrace, which was a bunch of tree houses, which was kind of unique. And finally Wonky Land, which was really fun with all the minigames, and you could get self-revives and epic loot from it. And finally going into the S-tier POIs, starting in Chapter 6 Season 1. There was Masked Meadows, which had that basement with some rare chests, which was pretty good. There was Bird. It's a bird. It's a bird turd. Night Shift Forest, that place was just beautiful. And then you also had the vault, which you could get the key from if you gave a sprite to Bushranger, which had enough rare chests and Typhoon Blades for an entire squad, which was insane. Magic Mosses was just a goated POI, and it also had that secret cave, which you could get some rare chests from by holding a sprite next to the wall. And then my personal drop spot, last but not least, Lost Lake. It had some rare chests and guaranteed Typhoon Blade, which I always went for. And just a really fun POI and brings back good memories. I'm sad it didn't stick around for Season 2. Finally, moving into Chapter 7 Season 1, let's see what the goated POIs of that season were. There was Classified Canyon, which had goop at the bottom, which turned you invisible for a little bit, which was kind of fun. And there was also a vault, which you could open, which would take a little bit to open, but it was still really good, with a bunch of rare chests and a guaranteed gold arc lightning gun. Sandy Strip which was based off LA, which was like really fun and underrated POI, honestly. Also had a guaranteed DeLorean during Winterfest. And my personal drop spot, Lethal Labs, which was like really fun. A lot of people landed there. There was the Dark Harvester, which you could bounce off of. In the basement, there were like teleporters, just really fun POI. Oh, and in Chapter 6, Season 1, there was also Brutal Boxcars, which you could land at to get the mythic from the train, which was a mythic Hollow Twister, which, yeah, that thing was busted. So, I think it is a close competition, but in general, I think Chapter 6, Season 1 clears Chapter 7, Season 1 in terms of the map. So, Chapter 6, Season 1 takes the win on this one. Next is the Battle Pass. So, I'm gonna talk about one from Chapter 6, and then I'll talk about one from Chapter 7, and I'll keep doing that until we get to the end of the Battle Pass. So, to start off for the Chapter 6 Tier 1, it was Nyanja, which was a really underrated skin, in my opinion. The black style is definitely my favorite. That one is so good. The base style is good. The golden one, I don't really care for, gonna be honest. Then the bride for Chapter 7. She's honestly a really good skin. The base style is good, and this might be a hot take, but her second style, which is like a casual style, is so peak, man. Jade from Chapter 6 is mid. Cat Holloway, I like her dress styles, but then the two other styles I don't really care for. Kendo, honestly a really underrated skin. Kingston, honestly, I've liked him more as the pass has, like, disappeared. Like, as time went on. Shadowblade Hope, I mean, like, this skin is so good, man. Carter Wu, his white style and black style are good, but the rest I don't care about. Daigo is one of my favorite characters of Fortnite lore, like, ever. So, yeah. Karina, she is horrible. And on her pink style, did you know that Tralalelo Tralala is on her cast? Baymax is just too big and bulky. Marty McFly is a W skin, especially with the hat style. The Night Rose, honestly, like, my opinion has changed a lot on her. Like, I used to hate her, but I honestly really like her skin now. You're welcome, Toon Spider. Miles Cross, a basic Chapter 1 military skin. Godzilla, I mean, he's Godzilla. What else do I have to say? He's freaking peak, man. Dark Voyager absolutely carried the Chapter 7 Season 1 storyline, and his skin is so peak. I do think the passes are pretty even, but I'm gonna be giving this one to Chapter 7 Season 1. Here's my full ranking of them, by the way. Next is Boons and Rift Anomalies, which were both kind of like replacements to augments. I honestly like both. The boons don't really affect gameplay, but they give nice little perks like marking enemies once you hit them, or reload faster, or sprint faster with your pickaxe, stuff like that. And then Rift Anomalies are more like a mid-game twist. There was Gold Rush from Chapter 6 Season 2. There was like just rifts, care packages. So I'd say more impactful over the game. So for this one, I'm gonna say Rift Anomalies win. Next is the Hollow Twister AR versus the Deadeye AR. This is a really close one because I love both of these things. They're so good. In Chapter 6 Season 1, the Hollow Twister AR dominated the meta along with the Sentinel Pump. You could get the mythic version from the train chest, which was really good, and it didn't really get any nerfs. Chapter 7 Season 1, the Deadeye AR also dominated the meta, like, really well, and it had no bloom or recoil, just like the Hollow Twister. But this is why I think the Hollow Twister is better. At the end of Chapter 7 Season 1, all scoped ARs got a nerf where above 100 meters, it would become projectile. So, yeah, that's why I think the Hollow Twister is better. Next up is the non-scoped ARs, the Fury AR and the Enforcer AR. Both are pretty underrated, but they just don't compare to the scoped ARs. And the Enforcer is just like way too slow. The mythic version is gas, but the base version, it's just eh. But the Fury, like all versions, are an acceptable choice. So I'm gonna say the Fury is better. Next are the pump shotguns of each season. I love both, man. How can I choose one? Like the mythic versions, both of them one pump. They're both pretty rare to get. Ooh, I got it. I won't choose. Shark will.
Sentinel pump shotgun is better.
Next are the auto shotguns. I mean, do I really have to say much here? It's the twin fire versus the twin hammers. I wonder which one is better. The the twin fire shotgun is literally horrible. So yeah, the twin hammer is better. Next are the shotguns that no one cares about and shouldn't have been in the loophole. So yeah, the Oni versus the Sovereign. I wonder which will win. Both of them suck horribly. I do think the Sovereign is slightly better though, so yeah. Next are the scoped SMGs. The Hollow Rush is basically just a version of the Squid Game SMG from Reload, but the Veiled Precision is definitely way better. Next are the gimmicky SMGs. Surge Fire would speed up the longer you hold it down, and I'm pretty sure, but don't quote me on this, the Flex SMG would go faster when you're hip firing instead of aiming down sights. But like the Flex SMG was so good, man. I would take this over like an AR. It was so good. Yeah, Flex SMG wins easily. Next are the swords. Now look, this list isn't about like which weapon is better per se, but more like which one I like more. You get it? So this might be a hot take, but I like the Forsaken Valblade more. It's like a better kinetic blade, and it's kind of like a kinetic blade and Typhoon blade mixed together, because it has the dashes from the kinetic blade and the slam from the Typhoon blade. But yeah, it's really fun. It should have lasted way longer in the season. Now, look, I understand that the Typhoon blade was overpowered, and yeah, it was also fun, but I like the Forsaken Valblade more, so it's taking this one. Next are the weird weapons of, like, season exclusives, basically. The Arc Lightning Gun and the Fire Oni Mask. Now, look, I hate the Arc Lightning Gun. Like, most of you probably know that by now. But the Fire Oni Mask is booty. Like, it's actual garbage. There is no point in taking this thing. So, yeah, Arc Lightning Gun wins easily here. Next are the season's unique mobility items. Void Oni Mask versus the Wingsuit. I really like both, honestly. The Wingsuit was, like, a really balanced and decent option for mobility, but you would always take shockwaves over that. But then the Void Oni Mask, it dominated, like, mobility-wise. Like, you could just go push someone, and then teleport back if you need to heal. So, yeah, the Void Oni Mask is taking this. Especially with the Mythic version, with 50 uses. Next are the key card thingies. Solinar Key versus Unstable Element. To get the Solinar Key, you had to give a sprite to Bushranger, and then you would get an insane vault with enough rare chests and Typhoon Blades for the whole squad, like I said when talking about Night Shift Forest. And then in Lethal Labs, you could go through the little portal things, and then it would have a chance to drop an Unstable Element, which could unlock a single rare chest. This is a really hard one. I mean, like, 1 rare chest versus 20 rare chests and Typhoon Blades. Yeah, the Solinar Key is winning. Next are the invisibility items. Shogun X's Medallion versus Stealth Splash. This is literally Hydrogen Bomb versus Coughing Baby. Stealth Splashes were mid. Whoever had the Shogun X's Medallion won the game. Especially if they also had the Mythic Typhoon Blade. Yeah, Shogun X's Medallion wins. Next are the pistols. Suppressed Pistol versus Tactical Pistol. Both of these are a solid option, but I would probably say Tactical is better, like with all of its competitive use. Well, I'm sure the Suppressed Pistol got competitive use, but I just think the tactical is better. Next is the train versus the hot air balloons. This is a really hard one, because the balloons were really good for getting to Unreal and ranked, but the train also had the Mythic Hollow Twister, and, like, it's the Mythic Hollow Twister. So, yeah, the train wins. I mean, the Mythic Hollow Twister versus ranked camping spot is not really that fair. Next are the Winterfest presents. For the skins, I would say Chapter 6 did them better, but Chapter 7's are alright. And you know what? I'm just gonna say it. Chapter 6 Season 1's Winterfest presents were better. And no, not just because the presents weren't stackable during Winterfest in Chapter 7, which was very stupid, but oh well. I just think the rewards were way better. So, yeah. Next is the Winterfest map. In Chapter 6, we got a whole strip of snow diagonally, which was cool. And it covered like half the map. And in Chapter 7, we got the top half of the map covered in snow. And this is why I think Chapter 7's Winterfest map was better. We got Clausy Lodge, which I loved that place, bro. Next is just the whole Winterfest in general. And I would say Chapter 7 was kind of like just a repeat of Chapter 6, but worse. So I'm gonna say Chapter 6 Winterfest was better. I'm going to compare middle of the season items, mostly for Chapter 6. For Chapter 7, most of these were here from the start. First are the clingers, so the normal clingers versus the clustered clingers. In Chapter 7, you could find the normal clingers in hot air balloons. And in Chapter 6, Season 1, you could find cluster clingers for a limited time during Winterfest. But, I mean, like, cluster clingers are obviously better, dude. Next is the hunting rifle, which was in both seasons. Chapter 7 because of the DeLorean, and then later the Wild Weeks. And Chapter 6 was just everywhere during Winterfest and after. And, I mean, like, okay. In Chapter 6, there was a mythic version. So, next are the mid-season AR editions. The Ranger was mid. It was just mid. That's it. Mid. No reason to take this over the Hollow or even the Fury. And then the Tactical is really good. It's just a shame it was in the same season as the Deadeye, which you would not take over the Deadeye because it's hit scan and it's scoped, so, like, why? But it was definitely, like, better than all the SMGs. So, yeah, the tactical assault rifle is better. Next are the lock-on items. Let's be honest, the lock-on AR is miles better than the lock-on pistol. The lock-on pistol, you can't even hold it down, you have to, like, tap fire it. And then the lock-on AR, you can actually hold it down. Next is the kinetic blade versus the Forsaken blade. And, like, the Forsaken blade is just a way better version of the kinetic blade. Like, when it came back in Chapter 6, it would take, like, 4 to 5% for each dash, which is just insane. But the Forsaken blade had, like, 2% per each dash. So, you could use it, like, all game. And it also has the, like, downward smash from the Typhoon blade, which the kinetic blade does not have. Forsaken blade is better. Next is the railgun versus the Vengeful Sniper. I don't really like the railgun, it's too gimmicky for me. But I do love the Vengeful, so it takes the win. Next are medallions versus respawn tokens. This might be a hot take, but I prefer the self-revive over the respawn token. Yeah, so medallions are better. Like, they were fun, and then Chapter 6 Season 4 had to ruin them. Even though those were fun and should have stayed in the game, but everyone has to complain, because why not? Next is the exotic Jenga launcher. Yeah, I genuinely could not remember the name. Versus the 7 cluster cannon, which was only in Chapter 7 Season 1 for some power hours. You could get the exotic, quad launcher, from doing the most damage to Godzilla. And it was absolute booty. But you know what isn't? The 7 cluster cannon. Yeah, it's better. Next are medallions versus boss transformations? I think that's what they're called. But the boss transformations, like, they don't help you in a fight. They give you many disadvantages. But the medallions, most of the time, they don't even hurt you. They just give you an advantage that could be helpful. Sometimes it's not really that useful, but it's better than nothing. But the boss tokens, they're useless. Yeah, medallions are better again. Next is the explosive repeater rifle versus the hunting rifle. Now, look, I'm not good with the hunting rifle, but I know how to use the explosive repeater rifle at least decently well, so I like it better. Next are the group shield healing items. The shield keg versus the flowberry mist grenade. Both of these can heal your full squad to 100 shield, and only the flowberry mist grenade provides cover, and it gives you the flowberry effect, so therefore it's better. Next is the mid-season map. Chapter 7 got Cartman Land, which was just a South Park version of Wonky Land. Chapter 6 got Shattered Span, which was a destroyed version of Shining Span, and Kappa Kappa Factory. I like Kappa Kappa Factory and Cartman Land, but Cartman Land was just a reskin, and Kappa Kappa Factory was actually new, so Chapter 6 wins again. Next is the Godzilla event versus the South Park event. For the South Park event, of course, we got Cartman Land, we got the Stick of Truth, which was It was overrated for sure. But we also got Cheesy Poofs, which were like Scooby snacks but only white health and you could actually throw them. And there was some free rewards in the mini pass, but nothing special. And it just lasted way too long. Like, they gave us a couple of new things, and then they let us be for a month. The Godzilla event, you could actually become Godzilla. Yeah, Godzilla event wins. Next are the live events. In Chapter 6, we got the end event at the end of the season, which set up Season 2 with Daigo and Shogun X fighting, which was really cool and fun. In Chapter 7, there was a couple, like, things with the Dark Harvester, but they were all forgettable, honestly. Like, the end event was literally just it shooting the 0 point. Yeah. And then there was also an OG event for the Ice King, which was cool, but I mean, it doesn't really count because that was an OG. But yeah, Chapter 6 mini event wins. And then finally, there's the storyline. For Chapter 6, it was basically just trying to get Jade free from the spirit realm, I think, is what it's called. And Night Rose was a cool character. In Chapter 7, the storyline really picked up with the Seven and the Dark Voyager. It's kind of dumb that most of the Battle Pass characters weren't involved though, but who really cares about them? They're mid as heck. But I'm gonna say that Chapter 7 Season 1's storyline was better. Here's the full list. And Chapter 7 Season 1 got a score of 14 points, and Chapter 6 got a total of 19 points. So 5-point lead. The points don't matter at all. But which season do I think is better? Chapter 6 Season 1, there's no comparison. Chapter 6 Season 1 was miles better than Chapter 7 Season 1. And if you think otherwise, no, you are wrong. But let me know if I should do this with Chapter 7 Season 2 and Chapter 6 Season 2 in the comments section. If you enjoyed that video, make sure to like and subscribe. And hey, if you really enjoy my content, why not watch another video? Have a good day. Peace.